Hey guys, it's Kristen here. Today, let's talk about homemade baby food. Now, before you completely click out of this video and think, why the heck would I ever want to make my own homemade baby food? Just hear me out for 2 seconds. I should make a disclaimer that I am the laziest person in the world. Honestly, I am so lazy. I am not your traditional domestic stay-at-home mom that loves to cook. I'm just not that person. I do it because I have to, but I don't enjoy it. And so something that I would add to that plate would be something I would normally push to the side. But in this case, I actually really enjoy doing this. And I'll give you 3 reasons why I do this. Number 1, making your own homemade baby food is really great just because you know what's in it. When you go to the store and you buy store-bought baby food, there's a lot of added ingredients and preservatives that they put in there, and it kind of tastes different than the natural flavor of the food. My son has tried both store-bought and homemade food, and he tends to like homemade food better. And I've tried both, and the store-bought stuff does taste a little bit differently. Specifically, fruit purees that are store-bought, they have added citric acid in them. It just makes it way more tart and just kind of a stronger flavor for kids to handle, and my son doesn't like it as much. They've also done studies recently that show that there's not very good things found in baby food nowadays, and so that's one reason why I make my own homemade baby food. Now, I should say that I'm not like a Nazi about having organic food, and I still let my son eat store-bought food. I keep it in a stockpile for emergencies and for different things. However, I primarily make homemade, and that's one of the reasons. I should tell you guys that my son does not believe in taking naps on the days I try to film these videos. So you're gonna hear him over here making some fun noises, so just bear with me here. Okay, number 2 is it's actually way cheaper to make your own food. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, well, that's dumb because baby food at the store is already super cheap as it is. You can usually buy like a 2-pack of baby food for like a little over $1. And that's true, but think of it this way. Take, for example, banana puree. Say you go to the store and buy a 2-pack of banana puree, and it'll probably cost a little over $1. If you look on the top of that container, it'll say how much banana is in that container, and it will say like 2/5 of a banana plus water. Now, say that you buy a bundle of bananas for like maybe $1.50, and you probably get like 7 to 8 servings out of that for just a little bit more of the price. So it is a little bit cheaper, and that is one thing to keep in mind. Number 3 is it's actually really easy, guys. Like I said, I'm one of the laziest people in the world. I would not add this to my plate if I didn't think I could do it. A lot of you are probably thinking, I just don't have enough time as it is. I'm not gonna spend any more time making more baby food puree if I don't have to. And that's totally fine, but honestly, it really doesn't take that long. It's way easy, and so I'm gonna show you how easy it is. Now, I should say that I'm not against anybody who buys store-bought baby food. I still buy a little bit for stockpiles, like I said, for my son, but I have just found this is the best way for me in my situation, and so that's why I'm creating this video, so that maybe you can find that you would enjoy making baby food for your child as well. So let's jump into it. So there are a few things that you're gonna need to make your own baby food. I'm gonna give you some common items, and then I'm gonna give you some not so common items that will make your experience a little bit more enjoyable, and then we'll jump into it. First of all, you're gonna need some kind of storage container. I have all of these wonderful storage containers that I bought off Amazon. I'll link them in the description below. And they came in a pack of 18, but I ordered 2 because I make a lot at the same time. That's another tip I would say, is to just take like an hour one day and make a bunch and then freeze it, and that way you're not cooking all the time. So I bought these containers, and what's really awesome is they come in 3-ounce containers, and they're labeled with ounces on the side, so that lets you know how much you're doing. They have a nice sealable lid on the top. They come in a bunch of different colors than what I'm showing you here now, and they also come with a limited number of stickers that you can write the name of the food and the date on there if you'd like. They're super awesome. I've really enjoyed them. The second thing that I use is this awesome book, and it's called The Big Book of Organic Baby Food by Stephanie Middlesberg. and I'll link that in the description below as well. I also got it off of Amazon. It's just a great book that gives you ideas of recipes to make, how to cook things, and what I really like about it is that it introduces what kind of herbs and spices you may want to put into your baby's puree. Now you'll probably think like, whoa, babies can't have that. Well, this book was written by a doctor, so she knows. So it's totally fine, but these spices are optional and it kind of just helps your baby to develop their palate a little bit more. So that's really nice. I don't use every recipe in this book, but I do base a lot of my things off of this book, and then I'll also find a lot of recipes on Pinterest. So those are the two things that I use. The next two things I'm going to mention are not necessary, but they make your life 1000% easier. And it's not just for baby food puree, but honestly, I think that these are probably the best two investments that you could possibly get for your kitchen and your life. Like, no joke. Hear me out on this. The first one is an Instant Pot and the second one is a Ninja blender. So an Instant Pot will save your life. They are a little bit on the pricey side, but they will literally save you time, which is invaluable. I know a lot of people that are like hesitant to go over to Instant Pot because they're so loyal to their crock pot, and I get that, but let me tell you that they basically do the same thing, but the Instant Pot delivers results in minutes. It's so great. Literally, I could pop like 4 chicken breasts in there and within 8 minutes it's done after pressurizing. It's so great. So I use an Instant Pot for a lot of my child's baby foods, which makes things go super speedy quick. And then I will usually transport them into my Ninja blender. So the Ninja blender is also really great. I've had one since I first got married, and they used to be really expensive, like I want to say 150 bucks. And we just invested in one super early on, and then like a month ago, I wasn't paying attention and I left a metal spoon in it and it exploded and broke. And so we had to buy a new one, and it was actually only like $75. So I think they're a lot cheaper on the market now. So that's something that is super nice to have. And it's a super powerful industry grade blender. It can make ice powder. It's just so great. So I use that to really make his purees really smooth. Now, like I said, if you don't have those two things, you can definitely still make baby food and make it super easily. If you don't have an Instant Pot, you can just steam them. You can use a crock pot. You can do whatever it takes to make whatever you're making really tender and soft. And then you'll probably need a blender. A lot of people use like masher tools, but to me, I don't think that they're as effective in my experience. So I would say get yourself a cheap blender. Just make sure it has enough power to blend things up decently. And yeah, that's really all you need. And it's super easy. So today I'm making 3 different baby foods. These aren't probably the best foods to show as an example for you guys, but I've already stockpiled so much in my fridge that this is just kind of like supplementing what I have. I'll give you an Instant Pot example and a steaming example. I'm going to be making applesauce, and I'll use my Instant Pot for that. And then I'm also going to be making strawberries, which I will most likely steam on the stove. Both will then be transferred and blended in the blender. So let's get started. So first I'm gonna make applesauce. Basically, you can make as small and as large quantities as you want. I tend to like to make smaller quantities. Then I have a variety of foods for my baby that can go into the fridge. So I'm gonna use 3 apples today to make applesauce. Basically what I'm gonna do is I'm going to wash them, peel them, core them, and chop them into like 1 to 2 inch pieces, and then I'll throw them into my Instant Pot. So here we go. While those are cooking in the Instant Pot, we're gonna get started on our strawberry puree, and we're gonna be steaming the strawberry puree with a steamer insert on top of the stovetop, and then we'll blend it up then. If you don't have an Instant Pot, you're gonna be doing most things with a steamer insert like this, or any other method that you choose. So let's get started. All right, I got my awesome, wonderful strawberries right here. What I'm gonna do is I'm just going to chop off the stems, chop them into a little bit of 1 inch pieces again, and then put them in the steamer. All right, my Instant Pot beeped and my apples were done, so I threw them in here into my Ninja blender. So I let them sit in for a while after cooking them. They're pretty tender that I could probably just mash them up right now, but like I told you, I like to have really smooth purees for my son. I guess as they get older, you can make them more thick depending on what you want. So right now I'm just gonna put my lid on and we're gonna get this going. So a good note is that any kind of food that you make, you can adjust the texture using water, breast milk, or formula, and make it however you want. I usually just use a little bit of water in the blender, so I'll throw in whatever I had cooked with a little bit of water, and then I'll blend it. But there are some foods that just really don't need added water, like apples or a lot of fruits that are just already really juicy as it is. I'll usually throw in water for more substantial things like sweet potatoes or green beans or peas or something like that. So just keep that in mind, you can do that. Right now I just have my apples and nothing else. Let's blend it up. There you have it, super simple. And then I'll just throw them into the freezer. What is the best way to store these and what's the best way to defrost them? So this is what I do. I freeze all of these in my freezer and I have them labeled by the name and the date that I made them. And what's so awesome about being able to freeze all of them is that they're good for up to 6 months. So that's a long time. And then when you're ready to defrost them, there are a couple different ways that you can do it. You can use a bottle warmer, you can place them in the refrigerator the night before to thaw them out, but all of that stuff hasn't been super effective for me. So what I do is I take a bowl of hot water about 45 minutes to an hour before I'm ready to feed my son, and I'll just stick that frozen puree in there and it'll be thawed by the time I'm ready to use it. So super simple, super effective, and it works out super nice. It's really important not to microwave your purees, just because that destroys all of the vitamins and nutrients that are in that puree. So be really careful with that. So now I'm gonna probably go check on my strawberries that have been steaming for quite a while. I just want them to be super tender, and then we'll blend those up and pour those in as well. All right, so there you have it. Super easy, super simple. Honestly, it takes about 10 minutes to cook something up. Super easy. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below or reach out to me. I'd love to help you guys. But yeah, it's super simple. Don't throw it off just because it seems like a lot of work. It's not, and it's a lot healthier for your child. So keep that in mind. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, give me a subscribe, and let me know what you guys want me to make. I'm gonna be making some more videos in the future, especially as we are all quarantined during this whole COVID-19 thing. So give me your opinions on what you want, and I'll try to make them to give you guys some entertainment while you're at home. Thanks guys, see you later.